Lovely, lovely, say that you're lovely. All right, in frame. What's up, YouTube?
It is bright and frosty early on this fall morning, and we are finally back to talk to all you folks out there in the YouTube worlds. Been on a hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus due to good purposes, though. We've got a lot going on, including a Brewfest, which we didn't tell you guys much about, but if you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen something about it.
But anyway, that's still no excuse. We gotta produce some videos, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We have a SMaSH beer that we are going to be talking about for you and getting drunk off of, because, you know, sun's up, it's 9 o'clock.
Sun's up,
Why
guns
the hell
up,
not?
buns up. So this SMaSH beer, SMaSH single malt and single hop beer is made with a malt that we have yet to use until this beer, I believe.
Yeah,
So,
first beer.
Kind of a fun experiment there. It uses the full pint malt done by Great Western Malting Company. The full pint is I believe a Bred malt from Oregon State University.
Yep.
And Great Western took some of that barley and turned it into a very
Nice light base malt.
malterific malt.
Malterific. Actually, it's not like super like crazy actually with any flavor profile.
Yeah, one of the first things that I kind of got off of it is some similar qualities to when we did our Halcyon yeast side-by-side single malt beer. Is it left?
I don't remember.
I'm out of,
I don't remember.
yeah, we're out of practice.
Don't remember anymore. So anyway, though, we're gonna go through. Let's start with some descriptors of it. So they say that this from Sierra Nevada. They're saying that this thing was very fermentable, had a dry, somewhat bready, somewhat tart characteristic, and then also talking about like fresh popcorn character, which I
can
guess
kind of get that, yeah.
Can you get that? I don't know.
Do they say salted popcorn? Like if you think of like the
Salted popcorn, yes.
Yeah, I don't. The salted part is the only confusing part to me, but I do get that kind of like
Right. Not regular popcorn, salted popcorn.
Yeah, it's got to be the salted.
Kosher too.
Yeah, I do get the if you imagine bland popcorn though, I do kind of get that base, that puffed. You know,
Oh yeah.
like
No, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there. That's
puffed corn. So like we were saying, we get 100% salt and popcorn flavor on this. There's no question in my mind about that.
Still fairly light in color though. 2 and some change, Lovabond, nothing to brag about.
Right in line with the standard pale two-row.
I get some of the breadiness, but it's not. So it doesn't have that clean sweetness though that like a pale two-row might have.
Yeah, or that
from the same
brightness almost, I
company.
would call it.
Yeah.
It's, I would say, less of a blank slate and more of a pleasant base malt to work with, honestly.
Definitely doesn't have the rich nuttiness that you've got from or that we've got from some of those Marisauder malts that we've been playing with.
Yeah, like the not the Greenwich. What is it? The Heritage from 1983 or 18, whatever it was.
Yeah.
This one.
What hops did we use though?
This was Polaris hops, which I hadn't used Polaris honestly before too much. It's kind of sounded like I don't remember the descriptor of Polaris, honestly.
To me, I got like more minty version of Northern Brewer is how I would describe Polaris. Fairly minty hops. Super high alphas actually, like 18% or something like that.
Yeah.
So we only used, I think, a couple ounces, if that, in this beer.
Recipes in the description below.
Yeah, recipes down there, but really simple. We weren't really trying to show off the hops. We were just trying to balance it out a little bit.
Yeah, just enough to see what it would do in a...
Yeah, and I think on the aroma, you're not really getting it, but you do get a little bit of that sort of woodsiness in the flavor.
Yeah, I definitely get that woodsiness and almost a bright green. I hesitate to use the word green, but green in a way kind of touch that adds a pleasant pleasant balance to the maltiness.
Green, like if you were to chew on a freshly cut bat.
Bat?
Yeah, like a baseball bat. No, not like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, chew on a freshly cut bat.
Yeah,
it is. It's Halloween. Speaking of, we have a Count Chocula beer on, which we'll maybe talk about later.
Maybe. Okay,
Right,
yeast.
Freshly cut bat. What did we use for yeast on this?
I have no idea. We probably should have printed that one out.
It's clean though, whatever it
Slapcut.
is.
So it turns out it was 2 packs of USO5 Chico strain. Nothing fancy. I did pitch a little extra just because I wanted to make sure this thing would rip hard. But
Ripped.
Rip.
So overall, clarity ended up medium. It's not an ultra clear beer, but it is dropping.
Mediocre beer.
It's dropping what you could expect to be like, commercial wheat beer, I guess. Probably that kind of level of opacity. Anyways, tasting notes, what do you get off of it other than, so outside of what we've read on the thing? Yeah.
So this is really my first time like having a pint of this like fully carbonated and ready to drink. Last time I saw it, I was trying to rush it into a keg for our $2 Tuesday on Saturday.
Yep.
And but anyway, now that you mention it, now we brought it up, popcorn dominates. Like that like it's weird.
Lachlan, can you be quiet for a minute?
A little bit of that, woodsy, minty coming through. And those Polaris, they were just flame out.
You had mentioned before that, those Polaris hops would be a great hop just as kind of a base stout hop, and I completely agree. I think those would be a perfect hop to kind of let your malts shine through and dominate without being overly astringent, like not capping on the astringency of the roast malts you use in a stout. So love those hops for that. And this was a very clean and easy to use, high efficiency malt, and it worked out really well for us.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell, what this malt might be good for, trying to think of like a style, anything that's going to be probably on the lighter side. Keep that bright, keep it so that you're not getting like, if you want a dry beer too, so I would say like English bitter.
I was going to say a mild, somewhere in there.
English mild, that'd be a phenomenal style as well. I wouldn't even be afraid to kind of go down the route of something like a Kolsch. Just because it does have that
little extra character to it.
That little extra character, and it keeps it from getting overwhelmingly sweet. So anything of that realm, I think, would work really well. As for throwing tons of hops at this, I don't know. It could work. It might be a little weird. But otherwise, a malt that, if you're looking for that specific kind of dry, popcorny character, great one. Other than that, probably won't use it for a lot of stuff. Yeah,
I still prefer a basic two-row, blank slate kind of malt for most of my beers. But as a single malt beer, without having to add anything else, I'd say it's a phenomenal malt to use just by itself. That said, if you want to see a Logan Yeast Bukkake picture, follow us on Instagram. I'll link the in the description. You guys.
It's Peter's fault. He was distracting me.
It was not my fault. I mean, I was standing over him at the perfect height, but
I was holding it in my hand. So. Till next time, subscribe, like,
follow us on our other social medias.
Let us know, yell at us if you want us to make a little more videos, because we've been not so good at that lately.
Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to get an Imperial Yeast tour / interview video out soon, because that was awesome. There's a lot of good information in there. So
yeah, those guys are awesome over there.
That's all. Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time on
Genus Brewing.
Boop.
For a long time, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How many bunches of votes? That looks like a giant penis. Oh, he went limp.